Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the easiest way to make money online is literally right before your eyes, and you're ignoring it every day? It sounds strange, I know. After all, when we talk about making money online, the first thing that comes to mind are complicated methods, elaborate strategies, expensive courses, or promises that seem too good to be true. But what if the problem isn't a lack of opportunities, but rather the fact that you're looking in the wrong place? The truth is that thousands of people are trying to figure out how to make money online, but they always end up falling into the same cycle. They watch videos, save ideas, get excited, and then give up because it seems too difficult or too time-consuming. Meanwhile, there is a much simpler, more accessible, and, above all, more realistic path, but almost no one pays attention to it precisely because it seems too simple to work. And let me ask you something. Have you ever been through this? Have you ever had the feeling that you're always looking for a new way to make money online, but you never seem to get anywhere? As if you're always starting from scratch, trying something new, but without seeing real results. If so, you're not alone. This is more common than it seems, especially within the world of personal finance and wealth building. What many people don't realize is that, in today's digital world, money isn't hidden in secret strategies or magic formulas. It's in what people do every day, watching videos, using apps, consuming content, interacting online. Yes, simple, routine things that you probably already do without even realizing the potential that exists there. And that's exactly where the turning point begins. But there's an important detail that almost no one talks about. The problem isn't knowing that you can make money online. The problem is understanding how to transform small actions into something consistent. Because making money online isn't about luck, nor about finding the perfect method. It's about seeing opportunities where most people don't, and having a financial growth mindset that allows you to evolve gradually, without having to reinvent the wheel. And stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might truly surprise you. It's not just another empty promise, nor one of those pieces of content that gets you excited for a few minutes and then disappears from your mind. It's something practical, straightforward, and that can completely change the way you see making money online starting today. Perhaps you're closer to getting started than you think. Perhaps you already have everything you need, but you haven't realized it yet. And that's exactly what makes it so interesting. Because when you finally understand this concept, everything starts to make sense in an almost obvious way. Now, pay attention to what comes next. Because there's a silent mistake that's preventing most people from growing financially online, and you might be making it without even realizing it before. And it's precisely at this point that everything starts to change. Because when you realize this mistake, you begin to see yourself differently within this game. No longer as someone lost trying to find a miraculous opportunity, but as someone who is already immersed in an environment where money is constantly circulating. All that was missing was understanding how to access it in the right way. And I'm curious to know, have you ever had that feeling of being so close to a solution, but at the same time not being able to clearly see what's missing? Because, if that's going through your mind right now, maybe this is the exact moment to turn that key. Also, if this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below about what has caught your attention so far. It could be a question, an insight, or even something you've tried that didn't work. Honestly, I read the comments and use a lot of what you share to create increasingly direct, realistic content that truly helps those looking to make money online and improve their personal finances. And another important thing, when you like this video, you're not just supporting the channel. You're basically telling the platform that this type of content needs to reach more people who are also trying to start from scratch, who are looking to build an online income, who want to develop a financial growth mindset, but haven't yet found the right path. Your participation here makes more of a difference than you imagine. And if you feel that this type of content helps you, opens your mind, or makes you see new possibilities, consider subscribing to the channel. Because the idea here isn't just to show you a way to make money online. It's to help you build a different perspective on money, consistency, and growth over time. Your presence here, whether commenting, liking, or watching future videos, is what transforms this space into something bigger than just content. It becomes a community of people who are seeking to evolve together. Now, with that in mind, let me show you what that silent mistake is that's holding most people back, and why it causes even the best opportunities to slip away. Heresy. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a hidden truth that few people dare to face. The problem isn't a lack of opportunity. It's how you've been making your decisions up to this point. Most people embark on the journey of making money online expecting a quick, almost instantaneous transformation, as if there were a secret button that would solve everything. And that's where the cycle of frustration begins. You try something today, doubt it tomorrow, then abandon it. And before you know it, you're looking for another new chance, another method, another promise. But behind the scenes, those who truly build results are doing the opposite. They're betting on the simple, the consistent, on what seems too small to generate impact, but which, over time, becomes something big. And maybe this is affecting you a little now, because it demands a change of mindset. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. It's not about chasing after everything, it's about choosing a path and following it clearly. It seems obvious when someone says it, but in practice, almost no one does it. And that's exactly why few manage to get anywhere. In the world of personal finance and wealth building, there's a silent pattern. Those who truly grow learn to value the process, while most remain trapped in the pursuit of immediate results. And this isn't just about money. It's about how you perceive your own evolution. Because in the end, this journey isn't just about making money online. It's about who you become while building it. The small actions you choose to repeat every day, even when no one is watching, are what truly define your future results. And if you stop to observe, you'll realize that maybe you weren't failing. You were just looking at everything from the wrong angle. Perhaps what seemed too slow was, in fact, the only sustainable path. But there's a specific point within all of this that completely changes the game when you understand it. And that's exactly where most people get stuck without realizing it. Comment below, does this make sense to me? Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because the big turning point happens when you understand that you're not just looking for another way to make money online, but rather building a new way of thinking, acting, and making decisions every day. And it's precisely this change in mindset that separates those who try from those who truly transform their own reality. What I'm going to show you here isn't just another one of those empty promises circulating on the internet. It's not based on hype or illusory shortcuts that seem easy at first and frustrating later. It's a simple, practical approach that makes sense in real life, based on how money actually circulates in today's digital environment. Something you can apply even starting from scratch, even without experience, and especially without needing to invest large sums of money right away. The idea here is to clearly show you how to identify opportunities that are already around you, how to transform small actions into something consistent, and how to develop a strategic vision that allows you to grow over time. Because, behind the scenes, those who build solid results don't depend on luck. They depend on perception, repetition, and conscious decisions. And perhaps this is already beginning to have a different impact on how you see everything. Because when you understand the how and the why behind things, everything stops seeming random. A path begins to exist, a direction, a logic that previously seemed invisible. And that's exactly what changes the game. Because from here on out, you'll no longer look at making money online in the same way. You start to see connections, patterns, and possibilities that previously went unnoticed on your journey. But there's a crucial detail within all of this, a kind of invisible mechanism that either maximizes or completely hinders your results. And that's what we need to talk about now. He comments there, I am also on that journey. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because this silent mistake that most people make isn't a lack of effort, but the direction of that effort. People are too busy trying to do everything at once, jumping from strategy to strategy, without realizing they are sabotaging their own progress. There's a very strong illusion behind the scenes of online money, the idea that the more different things you try, the more chances you have of succeeding. But, in practice, this has the opposite effect. You start something with expectations, don't see immediate results, doubt it, give up, and repeat this cycle several times. This isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of clarity. And without clarity, any path seems right at the beginning, but none holds up until it generates real results. This pattern creates a false sense of movement, as if you were advancing, when in reality, you're just going in circles. The hidden truth here is simple, but uncomfortable. Consistency in something simple yields better results than effort in something complex that you can't sustain. However, this requires more conscious decisions, patience, and, above all, a mindset prepared for the process, not just the outcome. And that's where many people get stuck, because they want transformation without going through the journey. You want impact without building a foundation. You want results without repetition. But everything that grows solidly follows a silent pattern. It starts small, almost invisible, but gains strength over time. When you understand this, you begin to see that the problem was never not knowing how to make money online. It was not respecting the necessary process for it to happen. And this perception completely changes the game, because it takes you out of trial and error mode and puts you on a more strategic path. But there's still one aspect within all of this that makes the process much simpler than it seems. And that's exactly what starts to open up new possibilities when you understand it. Comment below, now I understand theory. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because the revelation here is simpler and at the same time more powerful than most people imagine. The easiest way to make money online isn't something new or hidden. It's exactly what you already do every day, but never saw as a real opportunity. Think about it. How much time do you spend consuming content, browsing apps, watching videos, exploring platforms? That's not just entertainment, that's attention. And attention, today, is one of the most valuable currencies on the internet. Behind the scenes, companies, brands, and platforms are constantly paying for it, whether through engagement, testing, simple content production, or even small interactions that seem insignificant at first glance. The hidden truth is that you don't need to create something extraordinary to begin. You need to understand how to transform what you already do into something strategic. This is the mindset shift that generates transformation. Instead of just consuming, you start participating in the system consciously. Instead of wasting time, you begin to direct that time intentionally. And that's where many people are surprised. Because they realized they were in the game all along. They just didn't know how to play. It's not about extreme effort, nor advanced skills. It's about perception, about seeing value where it previously seemed ordinary, about making smarter decisions with what's already part of your routine. This completely changes the journey, because it takes away the pressure of starting from scratch and puts you at a much more advanced point than you imagined. You're not behind, you were just looking at it from the wrong angle. And when that switch flips, new possibilities begin to appear almost automatically. But there's a specific reason why this works so well, and that's exactly what begins to deepen this process even further. Comment below. I was already in the job. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because when you understand why this method works, everything stops seeming like luck or coincidence and starts to make logical sense. Behind the scenes of the internet, there's a mechanism that moves billions every day, and it revolves around something very specific: human behavior. Every click, every second of attention, every interaction, all of that has real value within this system. Platforms aren't free by accident. They profit from the time you spend there, the content you consume, and the decisions you make while browsing. And that's exactly why companies invest heavily to keep you engaged. Now think about it. If money is being generated from these actions, why do most people continue to just consume without participating in this flow strategically? The hidden truth is that those who understand this logic begin to position themselves differently. Not as someone who merely uses the internet, but as someone who extracts value from it. And this doesn't require anything extraordinary. It requires awareness. It requires realizing that small actions, when repeated intentionally, generate impact over time. This is the foundation of any real transformation, aligning mindset with action. When you start making smarter decisions within this environment, everything changes. You stop acting automatically and start acting with purpose. And this creates a silent advantage, because while most people are still distracted, you are building something. And that's why this approach works so well, because it doesn't depend on fleeting trends, but on a system that's already in constant operation. However, there's still a practical detail that makes all this logic come to life and become something applicable in everyday life. And that's exactly what begins to further clarify this path. Comment below. Now it really makes sense. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because when you start to see it in practice, everything takes on a new perspective. It's no longer theory. It's no longer something distant. It's ordinary people, in real situations, applying exactly this type of logic in their daily lives. People who started by watching videos, testing apps, evaluating platforms. And who, little by little, transformed these small actions into a source of supplementary income. There are people who earn money simply by watching specific content. Because companies need validation, retention, and behavioral data. Others participate in app testing, give simple feedback, and are paid for it. And there are also those who started by creating basic content, without a perfect structure, but with consistency, and today are reaping the rewards of this journey that began almost invisibly. What's most interesting is understanding the behind-the-scenes aspects of these stories. None of these people started with anything extraordinary. They began with what they had, using the time they already spent online, but with a different mindset. That's the real transformation. It's not in the size of the action, but in the intention behind it. And perhaps this is having a different impact on how you see everything now. Because it's becoming clear that it's not about discovering something new. It's about making better use of what's already available. The opportunities aren't hidden. They're scattered. They just require a closer look. When you connect these dots, you realize that the journey ceases to be confusing and begins to have direction. And that brings a different feeling. Almost as if there is finally a possible path, even if it starts small. But there's still an initial step that organizes all of this in a simple and practical way. Something that takes this idea out of the realm of perception and puts it directly into action. Comment below. Now I can see this. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because understanding is important. But what truly generates transformation is action, and it needs to start simply, clearly, and achievably. The biggest mistake beginners make is thinking they need a perfect plan, lots of free time, or some kind of advantage. But behind the scenes, those who truly evolve start by doing the basics well. The first step isn't trying to do everything. It's choosing a path within that universe and testing it intentionally. It could be a platform, a type of activity, or a specific way to generate income online. The important thing here isn't which one you choose, but how you decide to commit to it. Because it's conscious repetition that creates results, not random attempts. Think about your routine today. There's a space there, even a small one, where you're already online, consuming something, browsing aimlessly. It's precisely this time that can be redirected. You don't need endless hours. You need consistency. 30 well-spent minutes every day have much more impact than several unfocused hours once a week. And here's where a mindset shift comes in that few people realize. You're not trying to make money, you're building a process, and processes generate predictability. When you start repeating simple actions with clarity, you begin to understand what works, adjust what doesn't, and evolve naturally. This journey doesn't begin with grand results. It begins with small, almost invisible victories. But it's these victories that create a foundation, generate confidence, and, over time, transform into something bigger. And when you realize this, everything becomes lighter, because it stops being about pressure and starts being about progress. But there's a subtle difference between those who start and those who truly evolve in this process. And that's exactly what begins to define who builds something truly solid. Comment below, I'm going to start simple. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because this is where the real transformation happens. In your mindset, it's not about the tool. It's not about the platform. It's not even about the method itself. It's about how you perceive the process and the decisions you make along your journey. Most people enter this world looking for quick money, but those who truly build wealth learn to think differently. There's a hidden truth that few accept. Financial growth doesn't come from a single success, but from several small successes accumulated over time. It's almost invisible at first. It doesn't generate an immediate impact, but behind the scenes, it's forming something solid, and that requires an internal change. Moving away from a mindset of urgency and towards a mindset of building. When you begin to develop this kind of vision, everything changes. You stop getting frustrated with small results and start valuing progress. You begin to understand that every action has a purpose within a larger system, and this brings clarity, because you stop acting on impulse and start acting with intention. The journey is no longer about making money online, but about becoming someone capable of consistently generating value. And this has a much greater impact than it seems, because it doesn't depend on a single opportunity. You start creating your own opportunities. And it is precisely this type of mindset that differentiates those who try from those who build something real. Because while many give up when they don't see immediate results, others persevere, adjust, learn, and evolve. And in the long run, this difference becomes enormous. But there's a final point within this logic that connects all of this even more clearly. Something that makes you see why some people manage to move forward while others remain stuck in the same place. Comment below. My mindset changed. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because when you put all this together, you start to realize something that perhaps has never been so clear before. The problem was never a lack of opportunities. It was the way you perceived them. And this completely changes your journey. Because it removes that burden of I don't know where to start and transforms it into something much simpler, starting with what is already within your reach. There's a strong emotional impact here, because many people carry the feeling of being behind, of having wasted time, or of not having made the right choices. But the hidden truth is that all of this is part of the process of building awareness. You only begin to see differently when you are ready to see. And perhaps this is exactly the moment when the pieces begin to fall into place for you. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. It's not about doing everything right, it's about persevering, even when it seems small. Because, behind the scenes of any real transformation, there is silent consistency, the kind that no one sees, but that builds solid results over time. And when you understand this, something changes within you. Anxiety decreases, clarity increases, and your decisions become more intentional. You stop reacting to what appears and start acting consciously. And that, in itself, already puts you on a completely different path from most people. Perhaps you don't yet have all the results you desire. But now you have something far more valuable, vision. And vision guides action. Action generates results. And results, when they come from a well-structured process, are sustainable. But there's one last point that connects all of this in a practical and almost inevitable way. Something that transforms this vision into real action within your routine. Comment below. Now everything makes sense. And if you've made it this far, you may have already realized that this wasn't just another video about making money online. It was a change of perspective, and that's exactly the kind of content I want to continue bringing you. Something that truly adds value, opens your mind, and helps you evolve practically within your own journey. If it makes sense for you to continue on this path, subscribe to the channel. Not as a simple click, but as a decision to keep learning, adjusting, and growing with this clearer vision about money, mindset, and building real results. And I like to know who's really stayed until the end. So comment below. This message was for me. That shows me that you not only watched, but that you absorbed, reflected, and are ready to take the next step with more awareness. If this video gave you any insight, please leave a like. It's a simple way to show that this connection made sense and helps this content reach more people who might be in exactly the same place you were before you started watching, and take advantage of the momentum. Because there's a video right here that perfectly complements everything we've talked about. Click on it and continue with me there. Because this journey is just beginning.